It's 10 o'clock and it's time for the council to be in session. Will the council members please come to the council chamber?
Maybe the pads?
No, it's not the pants. It's just like through here.
Is it old? No? Making noise?
Making noise. I can do that. They have This has been continued for a long time.
I know, because the,
It's almost 15 minutes after 10. We need one member for a quorum. Ms. Galanter, Mr. Pacheco, Mr. Savornich, Mr. Wax, would you please come to the council chamber? Call the roll.
Burnson, Shake, Fury, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Ms. Kazic, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley Thomas, Furnish, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the council will please come to order. This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 14th day of December 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Hernandez moves, Mr. Burnson second. If there's no objections, unanimous vote. The next item,
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
if there's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item,
Item number 38 on the regular agenda, request to have that matter continued till January 5th.
item number 31,
38,
38 rather, continue until
January 5th.
There's no objections, that will be the order. Next item,
Item number 8 on the regular agenda is the reappointment of John Callahan to the Emergency Preparedness Commission.
is John Callahan here? This is a reappointment. Is there any discussion on this? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. The next item,
Item number 9 on the regular agenda is the reappointment of Monsignor Royal Vatican to the LA Homeless Authority.
Monsignor, you take the center table. Is there any discussion? This is a reappointment,
Yes.
Monsignor.
Right.
If not, Mr. Burnson moves, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Monsignor, you've been approved. We want to
Thank you
thank
very
you for
much.
serving the city.
Thank you,
We'll-
Mr.
We'll send that forthwith. Next item,
Item number 24 on the regular agenda is the appointment of Chester Whelan to the Board of Building and Safety Commissioners.
Chester. This has been in committee, and it's recommends the appointment to the Board of Building and Safety Commissioners. Any discussion on this appointment? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate.
11 eyes.
That is, Chet, you've been approved. We want to thank you for serving the city, and we'll send that forthwith. There's an awful lot of noise back there. Sergeant, would you clear out these people? If they want to talk, tell them to go outside.
Number 10 next.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. President, item number 10 on the regular agenda is the appointment of Douglas Ring to the Community Redevelopment Agency Board of Commissioners.
All right. Mr. We're going to take it up now, so, huh? Is the ethics here? Are ethics here? All right, well, Doug, would you step down and we'll take that just as soon as the ethics people get here. Did you call them, Mr. Holden? Okay, that's very nice of you. Okay, the next item.
Items number 1 through 7 on the regular agenda are items which have been noticed for public hearing. A motion is required on number 7.
Okay, we have people, anybody want to be heard on 2, 3, 4, 5? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on those items? Any discussion on any of those items, 1 through 5? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Item number 6, we have Tammy Masone. Did you want to be heard?
When we get to that grouping, thank you. Is my microphone on?
Hello, I'm Tammy Masone,
that
and I'm
right?
representing HUD through Golden Feather Realty.
We want to-
Item number 6 on the agenda is for an assessment of
Yes.
$300. The actual work performed on the property was prior to HUD's acquisition of it, and we would request that the administrative fees be waived. We will pay for the actual work that was performed prior to HUD's ownership.
She's over by the...
Hello, Pita.
$300 is, and then what do you want to waive? The $300 or?
No, just the administrative costs that were added to it.
What is the administrative cost? Do we have anybody that can tell us that? Yes. You come all the way down here for $300?
No, actually, I didn't, but, and I also wanted to mention on this property, it's scheduled to have the fencing provided in accordance with the City of LA's vacant building code, and that will be built within a week. The property is clean and free of debris, and it is boarded and secured.
Okay, can we hear from the department?
Yes, President Ferraro. My name is Angel Calvin with the Department of Building and Safety. The cost for this property is $100 is the administrative fee that HUD or their agent, Tammy from Golden Feather, is asking the department to waive. While $100 is not a lot of money and is not going to break the budget at Building and Safety, there is a bigger issue that HUD is asking as a policy decision that the city waive all 40% administrative fees on their properties from now on. That will amount to substantial amounts, and Building and Safety is opposed to waiving the $100 because that's creating a precedence that HUD is then going to request on all our future assessments that we waive the 40%.
Mr. Savornich?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Again, I don't think it's a matter of money here. I think there are some broader public policy issues that should be considered in regards to the Department of Building and Safety waiving some of the fees on a lot of these homes in our city, which are HUD-owned, or controlled, that we are trying to get back onto the marketplace. And so I think it would probably be a good idea, Mr. President, if we could continue this item today in order that the Housing and Community Redevelopment Committee can take a look at the broader public policy issue of whether or not the city will continue to waive some of these fees that HUD or maybe other agencies request to be waived. So, Mr. President, I'd like this to be continued 30 days, and in the interim, the issue of waiving fees from other agencies, including HUD, be considered by the Community Redevelopment, the Housing and Community Redevelopment Committee of this council, and I would so move.
Mr. Hernandez?
When you say you're HUD, are you representing Andrew Como?
Yes, Golden Feather Realty has the contract for Southern California for HUD, and we represent all houses.
But that doesn't mean you're HUD.
Well, I mean, we have the power of attorney to represent HUD in this area through our contract.
Because, Mr. President, I would ask that the CLA's office, basically as part of our continuance, communicate with the department of HUD, not a representative who has a power of attorney, as to this request. It just sounds very unusual, and being that we deal with HUD on an ongoing basis, in fact, a lot of the block grants that we receive come from HUD, and I think that the CLA's office should basically be communicating to the department, and then ask whether this is something they want their representatives representing to the city of Los Angeles. It seems highly unusual to me. And so as part of the continuance, I would ask that the CLA's office direct the communication through our Washington office to HUD. I mean, it just seems very unusual for this kind of request. And I agree with the department, it is policy setting, and it's something we should review very closely. In this case, it might be $100, but in reality, in terms of the status of housing in the whole city, it could be a very major issue we're being asked to look at. So I just amend the continuance, but also ask the CLA's office to communicate with HUD.
Okay. So is there any objection to continue this item 30 days? Which would be
January
January
14th.
14th. If there's no objections, that will be the order.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next item.
Thank you.
Item number 7.
Well, before we do that, Rudy, Mr. Wax has a presentation.
Mr. President and members of council, we're honored today to have in the council two very distinguished guests who want to make a presentation to the city. We have Major General James Comstock of the United States Army Reserves and retired Colonel Dr. Howard Schwartz, who is representing on behalf of the U.S. Defense Department, who are here to make a presentation to the city at this time. And I'd like to draw your attention to them. They're at the podium. Thank you.
I am very pleased at this time to present an award on behalf of the reserves and guards of the armed forces, the distinguished, who have distinguished themselves, and the council who has made a contribution to making it easy for reservists and National Guard people going on active duty, going to drill meetings and so forth. The city of Los Angeles is one of the very few who have earned the second highest award that the Department of Defense gives for this type of activity. It all started when your employees who went overseas sent in a paper says, "My boss is a pro," and telling how good it was to work for the city and how they cooperated in making it easy to support the armed forces. We picked that up and found out that you had somewhere close to 3,000 people at that time employed by you who are reservists. So your support is very, very important. Today, we are presenting you a Pro Patria Award, which is the second highest award. Hopefully, in the future, you will earn the Freedom Award. And in that case, the Secretary of Defense will come out here and make that award. I would be very pleased to see that, being a citizen of Los Angeles. I am pleased at this point to present to you General Comstock, who will make the award for two reasons. Number one, he commands the 311th COSCOM unit located right here in West LA, and many of his troops are employees of Los Angeles. But second, General Comstock, 2 years ago, was ordered to go overseas, and he commanded a unit over there, Bosnia, I believe it was, and with him went some of your employees. And the reports that I got back here were all so good as far as employer-employee relations were concerned. And that is when I put in for this award. May I present to you, well, one other thing. It was just last weekend, I met with General Comstock when he addressed some troops who will be leaving, I think, this week. So we have them coming and going overseas. May I present to you Major General Comstock, and may I ask that Councilman Ferreira and Councilman Wax come forward to receive this beautiful plaque, which I hope will be hung here in the city chambers. General Comstock.
Thank you, Dr. Schwartz. It's indeed a pleasure for me to make this presentation to the city. One of the things that Dr. Schwartz, who by the way is a retired colonel in the Army, didn't mention is that when we get the call for people to go to Bosnia, it is a 9-month commitment. As my wife told me when I got the commitment, she said, I could be pregnant and had a kid by while you're gone. I said, I hope not. But it is important to understand that when you as an employer say to your employees, we're going to make sure that everything continues to work well, that it allows the mission to be accomplished a lot more efficiently and effectively, and we do appreciate that very, very much. Let me read the award to you. The Pro Patria Award is presented to the City of Los Angeles on behalf of the men and women of the Guard and Reserve Forces for distinguished contributions to the national defense through exceptional support of the National Guard and Reserve, and this is presented by the Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve from the state of California.
Really a beautiful plaque, and Joe will try harder and try to get the #1 award next year.
Mr. President, members of council, this really is an award for all of us, because as you know, this city council took a leadership role, first in the Gulf War and later in Bosnia, guaranteeing that any of the men and women from our city who went to serve our country with honor and distinction, we would make up the difference between their military pay and the pay that they were receiving as city employees, and that we would also continue their medical and dental coverage. That was an important step, an important statement that we could make on behalf of our employees that we wanted them to serve this country with honor. I hope we never have to get the Freedom Award, because I think coming with that will be another situation where we have to send our men and women. I would rather the greatest award be not having to send them. But should that occasion arise, I am sure that this council will stand again unanimously in favor of this policy and to do all we can to help in this regard. So we're honored to receive this, and we thank you for taking the time, General Comstock and Colonel Schwartz, to be here today to present it in person. We're very honored.
Yeah, let me just say, on behalf of the City Council, we want to thank you for this great honor, and we want to thank the Department of Defense for thinking of the City of Los Angeles, and we wish them the best. And as Joe Wax points out, we don't want to receive the first award, the highest award, because that would mean there are unhappiness going on in the world.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Walters for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to ask my Chief of Staff, Delpha Flad, to join me, and there are other members of my staff here, if they would also join me. I have the singular honor today of recognizing an employee for her 10 years with the city. But wait a minute, I said an employee. I have the honor of recognizing 2 employees who have been with the city for 10 years. And it's a wonderful thing to do so. Those employees are Angie De La Trinidad. Where is Angie? Okay, that's for Angie. And it says happiness is Angie De La Trinidad. And happiness is really Angie De La Trinidad. She came to my staff when I came here. She had been on Councilmember Gloria Molina's staff, and she came to us answering the phones and taking complaints over the phone. And then Angie worked so hard and was really a very valuable employee. She is now one of our district field deputies and doing an outstanding job, and I'm just so proud of her progress these 10 years. The other employee is Yvonne, my right hand, left hand. Happiness is Yvonne Bakar. Happiness is Yvonne Bakar. She's there when I come in the morning. She's there when I leave at night. She sees that I've got all of whatever I need to get from one place to the other and to do it on time, and just any number of little things. I know I can call on Yvonne and she will have the answer, or she will get the answer. So I'm delighted that we have this opportunity to recognize these two very fine employees for the city. Yvonne has been here now 10 years, but she also served State Senator Diane Watson for many years, and served Councilman Mike Wu for a number of years. So both of these are now well-seasoned employees, and they do a wonderful job for our constituents and for the city. Delpha, do you want to say something?
I'd just like to echo that and also say, since term limits are coming up, that these are two employees that will be valuable to anyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud to be a part of the city's team, and particularly with Councilwoman Rita Walters. Thank you so much.
I also want to thank Councilmember Walters for the opportunity she's given me, as well as the supervisors that I've worked with that have just been great teachers, and thank you for all the experience and the knowledge that you've given me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and council members.
Thank you, Mrs. Walters, and congratulations to your employees. Okay, the next item on the agenda.
Item number 7 is an item notice for public hearing.
Okay, we have Joseph Duvall, Raul Ocampo, and Ismael Vegas. Would you take the center microphone there? Give us your name, please.
Good morning, Mr. President and Council. My name is Joseph Duvall. I'm an organizer with the Community Coalition located at 8101 South Vermont Avenue. The coalition has worked for the last 9 years to reduce the amount of alcohol concentrated in South LA and the subsequent effects of crime centered around commercial businesses. It's our belief that the owner or operator has the responsibility to the community to provide good services while maintaining a safe environment. To this end, we feel that Supermercado Latino has not shown the responsibility in this area. At the zoning hearing a couple of weeks ago, LAPD came and opposed the conditional use permit, testifying that there was gang graffiti left on the wall for several weeks at a time, that there were always folks hanging around in the alley, which becomes, an even more difficult management problem when there's alcohol available on the site. And another current liquor store operator opposed their license, claiming that they were unable to also keep the lot clean. We've been by the store for the last couple of months and monitored it, and what we've been able to observe is that it's a small store located right next door to another market, roughly the same size. The other market doesn't sell liquor, but has also done a better job of keeping their lot clear of debris and loitering. In the surrounding area, there are already 3 other liquor stores, one within a half-mile west, 2 miles east, and 1 mile south. So the coalition feels that if this market has difficult time without alcohol, that the operators would find themselves in an even more difficult situation with alcohol. We feel that the store's proximity also to Manual Arts High School and the difficulty that they have in keeping the area clean is reason to oppose Supermercado's permit to sell alcohol. And I've also brought with me 3 other students, although 2 of them will be up here to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Raul Ocampo, and I belong to a component of the community coalition called South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, and we work with building leaders in our community in the youth. And I oppose the permit because I think that we already have enough alcohol in our community, especially in our schools. We have liquor stores right across the street from our school. And I don't think it's a good mixture between, students and, because there tends to be like a crowd of people who hang out outside of these liquor stores, and and it's not a good mixture when they meet up with the students who get right out of school. And
And in reality, you know, youth do drink, and just like having liquor stores real close, you know, to the neighborhood makes it more accessible to, you know, to youth. And like we said before, the store has a problem, you know, keeping people away from this, from loitering around the store. And with the alcohol problem, it's just going to make the problem worse.
Okay. Ismail, did you want to speak?
I just spoke.
Huh?
I just spoke.
Okay, thank you. That closes the public hearing. Mrs. Walters?
You, Mr. President, Councilman Ridley Thomas is unable to be here today and has asked that I would convey his wishes on this to the council. He urges that we deny this application to sell liquor. As one of the speakers indicated, it is in close proximity to Manual Arts High School, which is in my district. It's also in close proximity to Menlo Avenue Elementary School, which is in my district. And there's a plethora of liquor stores in this area. We do not need another one, and I would urge you on behalf of both Councilman Ridley Thomas and myself to deny this application.
Okay, is there anyone else who wants to be heard on this? Motion is to deny. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved, that the permit is denied. The application is denied. The next item,
Mr. President, item number 10 was held on the desk. That's the appointment of Douglas Ring to the CRA Board of Commissioners.
we do have somebody, Gordon Murley, that wants to be heard on this item. We did have a public hearing on this, and apparently in committee. Is there any objections to Mr. Gordon Murley speaking? We'll give him a couple minutes. Tell us all you know, Gordon. It won't take long.
Well, I can't have a negative value, so we're all in trouble. Gordon Murley, I'm here representing Woodland Hills and San Fernando Valley Federation. We're rather chagrined that we have a case where here the husband of one of the council members is up for nomination for the CRA. We think that this is cronyism at its worst. We do not see where she could ever vote for anything in CRA with her husband being on the board, because anything comes before the CRA and it comes before you has had to have been approved by it. Therefore, essentially, those in the 11th District have lost any voice or a vote on any community redevelopment. And I don't care how you want to try and cut it, that's the fact that she would have to recuse herself because her husband is now on CRA. I think it's very sad in this city when we're starting to see the mayor continue to take the same little group and put them into very, very sensitive areas. If our pool is that small, then we have, with 3 million people, we're in very bad shape. There are so few that could serve. And we would ask that you deny this, because this is not what it was all about. And no matter how anybody wants to try to cut this and say, well, campaign promises were made, but they're only campaign promises, but it was stated by the council person who is married to Mr. Ring that he would not be involved in any land use decisions whatsoever. And if you want to say, well, it's CRA and he's not doing lobbying and this type of thing, I'm sorry. And the only thing that comes to my mind is the old Jewish proverb, a half-truth is still a lie. And I think the public deserves better than this in representation on the CRA, which we're not happy with anyway. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The public hearing is closed. Mr. Holden?
Mr. President, hold my time. I just want to ask some questions from the ethics staff. They've put out a letter here with some pertinent information in it, and I want to know, this just November the 8th, and in the letter is contained information limited, not limited to, but include, it says the Ring Trust holds investments in several real estate businesses, which owns property or conduct business in Los Angeles. Says, Mr. Ring reports income and partnership interests in many of the real estate businesses held by the trust. They say he is currently involved in developing multifamily rental units in Los Angeles. He also reports income as a real estate attorney with the law firm of Mitchell, Silberger, and Krupp. So how'd you obtain that information, the Ethics Commission?
Good morning.
To the extent where you're able to report it to us.
Good morning, Councilman Holden, members of the council. Rebecca Avila for the City Ethics Commission. You may recall that at the council's direction, the ethics ordinance now has a provision requiring anyone who's appointed to a position in city government requiring council confirmation to file with our office a financial disclosure statement. Our office reviews the financial disclosure statements of appointees, and in these letters, there's basically two different kinds of letters, which we send to the council members, the mayor, and the appointee. We note whether there are any potential conflicts of interest that appear based on reading the financial disclosure statement. There are two standard letters. One letter is a letter that says there do not appear to be any potential conflicts of interest. Those generally appear for people who really have no financial interest to report. If someone does have financial interest to report, we highlight them in the letter so that the nominee is aware of them, so when they assume their duties as a city official, they know that they should seek the advice of the city attorney before acting on any matter that could potentially affect one of their financial interests.
Just boilerplate. And the reason why you released this letter to the council is because based on the reports or information that Mr. Ring provided to you, is that correct?
Yes, he filed a financial disclosure statement with us.
And but I think there's another letter you sent out, or he responded to it, which saying that notwithstanding what he put in his financial disclosure statement, that some of that stuff doesn't apply today. Now, how does that differ from what he originally provided the commission and that which he's now retracting or providing today?
Well, and I'll certainly let Mr. Ring comment in case he wants to clarify. My understanding of that is when he received our standard letter, his copy of our standard letter, he had questions about the significance of the letter and how we conduct our review.
Right.
And he wanted to provide us with additional clarification of his statements. And our letter of November 17th more fully explained for him the process that we use and the criteria we apply to note what potential conflicts there are. I think subsequent to our exchange of letters, he also met with the city attorney's office on the issue.
Okay, then a question to Mr. Ring. Mr. Ring, the City Ethics Commission responded in advising the council as to what your duties would be and when that might be considered a conflict of interest based on the information that you provided them. And then you have subsequently come up with a different statement. How does it differ and why?
It doesn't differ. It was just expanding on what I originally provided them with. I met with the city attorney's office. I won't characterize our conversation. He's sitting here next to me, but I believe that there is nothing that would impede me from being able to vote on any issue that is before the CRA.
So the real estate holding you claim that you own within your original statement, you don't own in your trust?
I own real estate. I own two pieces of property in the city of Los Angeles, an apartment complex which is in the San Fernando Valley, not in a CRA area, and our home, not in a CRA area. And I own additional real estate not in the city of Los Angeles.
So the trust, that the real estate that's in trust is not included in the city of Los Angeles, notwithstanding what the Ethics Commission letter says that it is.
Excuse me.
Huh? Yeah, please. It's my time.
Let me try again, please. I own an apartment complex, or I'm a part owner of an apartment complex in the San Fernando Valley, which is outside a redevelopment agency area. It's not within CRA jurisdiction. And we own our home, which is in the city of Los Angeles, also not in a redevelopment agency area. And then I own other properties that are not within the city of Los Angeles, and by definition, therefore, not within the jurisdiction of the CRA.
So you don't see any reason why you would have to ask the city attorney to to have you decide whether or not you should recuse yourself from any matter coming before the CRA board. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
And ethics, you're satisfied with that as well?
All right. Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. There are two reasons, council members, that I am going to vote against Mr. Ring for this appointment and urge you to do likewise. The first one is that I differ greatly with the mayor's appointments of these husband and wife teams to various commissions and offices of the city. Everything that is lawful, everything that is ethical, does not mean it's something you should do. And in this case, I think that the fact that Ms. Miskowski is here on the council and Mr. Ring would be appointed to the CRA, we deal with a lot of CRA matters. And to me, that is erasing a firewall that should be there between any city business as far as the spouse of any of us is concerned. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to vote against Mr. Ring and urge you to do likewise. I think it makes it decidedly uncomfortable for doing business in the city, and it sets a precedent that doesn't need to be set. The other reason I'm going to vote against it, the mayor chose to remove an African-American gentleman from this position and to appoint Mr. Ring. The fact now, I'm told, that there is nobody on the CRA commission who resides south of the 10 freeway. Now, most of the activity that is occurring now is in CRA areas south of the 10 freeway. And to not have any representation at all on that commission is a travesty. And I would urge that the mayor pay closer attention. There are 3.5 million folks in this town. And why he could only find the husband of one of the council members and somebody who's as far removed from CRA issues as he can possibly be to appoint, I will never know. But I am voting no, and I urge you to do likewise.
Mr. Savarnich?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. In my 6.5 years on this city council, I have voted against 4 commission appointments. 2 I voted against without speaking because they were Harbor Commission appointments. One was an appointment to the Fire Commission, and today I rise not able to support this also. But I don't like being in this position. I don't like being in the position to have to stand here and vote against the spouse of one of my colleagues who I respect. I don't like being in this position, and furthermore, what really is bothersome, as the former chair of the committee that oversees activities of the Community Redevelopment Agency, we saw firsthand over the course of the last couple of years the struggles that the agency is going through in regards to trying to provide the type of programs and projects in those parts of the city that most need the help. With this appointment, we removed the last opportunity to have any representation south of the 10 freeway on the Board of Commissioners of the agency that is entrusted to try to make the neighborhoods that are in most need in the city of Los Angeles better. Now, can it be said that folks who may not live in areas that need the help can make good commissioners? Yes, most certainly they probably could. But what I am finding troublesome is that 2 commissioners that were from the part of the city that need the most help were replaced with 2 commissioners from Council District 11. And that's bothersome to me. Number 2, in regards to this particular commissioner's appointment, one of the things to which I have had concern over the course of the last year was this commission appointee's insensitivity to council districts going through a multitude of issues of particular to they. And one of the things to which I took great exception in regards to this appointment was this commissioner's unwillingness to work with council members as it pertained to issues in their district, and even have the common courtesy to look them in the eye, to make an appointment, and discuss the issues with them, but rather doing everything behind their back in a very skullduggerous way, which I found appalling. And if that is the type of abuse of power that a person would have as a member of the LAHSA Commission, I can only think what they would do if they were a member of a commission that was entrusted with the redevelopment of communities throughout the city that needed it. But hope springs eternal. And I would hope that this commissioner would learn a lesson, that when 3 or 4 members of the city council would get up and speak out against his appointment while his wife sits here as a member of the council, that he has some soul searching to do in regards to how he conducts himself as a commissioner.
Thank you, Ms. Galanter.
Well, I have a somewhat different point of view here. I first of all want to remind you that Mr. Ring had a record of public service before he married Ms. Mizikowski, as she did before she married him. And I think it's unfair to penalize him for having married somebody who has chosen to spend some of her time working among us. After all, we all know it's punishment enough working here. But I also want to remind you that Mr. Ring served as chairman of the Library Commission and was in many respects responsible for the restoration of and reconstruction and additions to our central library, that he has spent a number of years now working with the Homeless Services Authority, attempting to provide shelter and housing for people who are in fairly desperate need, and where I have to say that we have, as a city, have done a somewhat less than exemplary job. We struggle with it, we try, but we're not getting there yet. And I frankly think that his expertise in the real estate industry, since he's not going to have a conflict of interest, would be awfully helpful to the CRA, as it would be to the city as a whole. And it is with great pleasure that I announce that I'm going to support his appointment, and I urge at least some of you to do the same thing, preferably 7 of you.
Mr. Hernandez.
Members of the council, I've heard arguments that I've basically brought up before in terms of the mayor's appointments and so forth, and I think I was sitting with Councilmember Goldberg when she said, you know, our reality is this mayor only has, I guess now, about 560 days left, and he's making appointments to boards for whatever reason, but obviously he doesn't include us in the process, and he hasn't done it before, and he's not really doing it now. But she, at the time, felt that she could support Mr. Ring's appointment because of basically her own reasons. I need you to know that my reasons are very definite. I'm supporting Mr. Ring because I know him. I know his work. I've seen his work on the Library Foundation. I've seen his work on the Children's Museum. I've seen his work basically as a man who has chosen to stand for certain principles. And I don't see him as an individual who's going to do what the mayor's going to ask him to do if it's wrong. I see him as someone who's made some very basic decisions in life that have been very inclusive of his wife's wishes and respectful. I don't think he should be penalized as a human being or as an individual because the person he loves chose to go into public service. It makes no sense to me. I remember walking precincts for Lucille Roybal Allard in East LA and people saying, she's just the congressman's daughter. And me saying, you don't believe the congressman would want to raise his daughter properly? And you don't believe that she would try and respect the principles of the congressman? And it was like she was being penalized because she was the daughter of a congressman everybody respected. And that made no sense to me. He's no longer in Congress and she's still serving in a very principled way and very well. And again, we have to look at individuals, and we can't penalize them for their relationships if they're positive relationships. And again, I have no reasons before me why I wouldn't be supporting a nominee like Mr. Ring to the CRA.
Mr. Wax?
Well, there are three issues that have been raised today. One is whether or not on the merits Mr. Ring is qualified, and there are differences of opinion here. I think he is extremely well qualified. Others do not, and I think that if they vote against it, it should be on that reason. The other two reasons that were given disturb me. One, that Ms. Misikowski doesn't have a degree of independence. I think that demeans her. I think that she is an independent person and has every ability to be so. And second, that it's impossible to vote against someone because of their spouse. I think Mr. Savornich's admonition to Mr. Ring is a very clear indication that it's very easy to vote against someone despite their spouse. And so I think that really we shouldn't judge this based upon things like the independence, because I have every belief that Councilwoman Misikowski is totally capable of being as independent as any person on this body to exercise her judgment in the manner in which she feels is best. I think that the real issue are whether or not Mr. Ring is qualified, and the mayor's, and as Ms. Walters mentions, the mayor's policy and who he appoints to commissions or not. But the buck should really stop there with respect to that issue. I think, though, that on the merits, Mr. Ring will make an excellent member of this commission.
Burnson?
Yeah, I'm going to be brief because most of it's been said, but I've known Mr. Ring for many, many years. He's a very responsible person. He's very qualified. I don't know of any reason why he should not be confirmed. I think we should be thankful that we have somebody of his qualifications that's willing to give his time to serve on a commission that God knows why anybody would want to serve on, to be very honest with you, because it's thankless. But certainly I wouldn't penalize him because of his relationship with his wife. He certainly has been involved in many, many philanthropic and other community causes long before they were married. And I don't see any reason why he should not be allowed to continue and serve on the CRA board. I might add that if we're talking about policy, the mayor's daughter serves on a commission, which this council approved unanimously. And there is no conflict. To suggest that either he or Cindy cannot be independent, I think is an insult. And I think that we should approve him. Thank you.
Mr. Fuhrer?
Very briefly, the reasons I'm going to be supporting Mr. Ring this morning have to do with an issue Ms. Gallanter referred to, and that's expertise and a record. In addition to the work on the Homeless Authority to which Ms. Gallanter referred, it's also true that Mr. Ring was an integral participant in the Substandard Housing Blue Ribbon Commission, whose work gave rise to the sweeping reforms that we have initiated as a council, but only after being shamed into doing it by that commission, rightfully so. Mr. Ring has been honored by the Western Center on Law and Poverty for his work on behalf of the poorest members of our community. And I think that if you combine his expertise on real estate matters with his demonstrated commitment to people who are homeless, to people who are economically disadvantaged, live in poverty, and to rectifying slum housing conditions in our city, you have a package of expertise that is rarely brought to any commission in the city, let alone to this one. And I urge support for his nomination.
Ms. Chick?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I also rise in support of this appointment. I think it's exactly some of the things, for instance, Mr. Ring's experience and knowledge about real estate that make him a very valuable commissioner on the CRA, his experience with financing on real estate. We all know that we've got a redevelopment agency that is in a very delicate and precarious position, and we need commissioners who are, I mean, I'm amazed that Mr. Ring is stepping forward and accepting this nomination, because he is certainly someone aware of what's going on with the finances of the CRA, with the discussions on the governance of the CRA, and yet he is stepping to the post and offering his time, his energy, and his talents to work with the commission, the department, this city, the city council and mayor, to put the CRA back to the kind of heavy-hitting economic development and housing tool that it can and should be throughout the entire city. I unfortunately, I would like to move, I can't do that once I've spoken already. Well, that's just too bad. At any rate, colleagues, I think this is an appointment we should not only feel comfortable with, but we should enthusiastically welcome.
Mr. Pacheco?
Move the previous question.
Okay, prepare the roll on the previous question. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
And that is approved. Now we have the matter before us. Is there a motion? Okay, we have a motion to approve. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 3 noes.
Overwhelming endorsement. You have been approved, and we'll send it forthwith. Next item.
Mr. President, items number 11 through 23 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held.
11 through 23, are there, Which one?
17.
17 is called special.
11 special for a minor amendment.
For a minor amendment. Any other specials? 11 through 23, with the exception of 11 and 17. Prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
On what? That is approved.
Next item has been 25 through 37 on the regular agenda, items for which public hearings have not been held.
Anybody want to be heard on any of those items?
Number 37, Mr. President, one small amendment.
Anybody want to be heard on any of those items? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Now, specials, Mr. Padilla, you want 37?
Yeah, just a simple change of dates for that agreement to be effective December 6th through March 6th.
Okay,
That's
there's
the
no
only change.
objections to correcting those dates. Any specials? If not, prepare the roll for 25 through 37 and 37 as amended. Prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item. We're going to forthwith everything today. Next item.
Items number 40 through 44 on the supplemental agenda are items for which public hearings have not been held.
Okay, we have a card on 43. We'll call that special.
Please.
Anybody want to be heard on any of the items? Seeing none, public hearings closed on all but 43.
40, please.
40 is called special. We have 41, 42, and 44 before us. Prepare the roll on those. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
The next item is item number 11, called special, by Councilmember Fuhr.
Mr. Fuhr, you call 11 special?
Yes, Mr. President.
Could we have quiet over here, please?
Mr. President, in committee, we thought we had achieved the following, but apparently it didn't get recorded, so I want to move a minor oral amendment to 11 that would instruct the Department of Recreation and Parks to pay down the Quimby debt for the Limekiln Canyon Park repairs with FEMA reimbursement the department receives, which is, frankly, consistent with what you're
Sergeant, would you
to do.
tell those people to move out?
I just want to make sure, but that will be repaid? What if FEMA is unable, if FEMA refuses to pay?
It needs to be repaid. That was the point of the committee discussion, and Francine came to the
Okay, so
committee.
will be repaid to the Quimby regardless?
We have to work out a payment plan if it is not available from this.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
This is as amended? All right, prepare the 11 as amended, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Those are approved. That is approved. Next item?
Item number 17, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, you call 17 special. We did have a public hearing on this, but there is somebody has a card on this.
Yeah, Mr. President, I think the staff should come up and tell us why they want to sell this. I differ with their opinion, but at least you need to know why.
Can we have the staff people here to,
We've invested, how many millions of dollars in this project, sir? Start out by giving us that information.
Thank you. Good morning. Don Spivak from the Community Redevelopment Agency. The item before you is to adopt a joint resolution of the agency and the council authorizing the sale of the Premier Towers building for $4 million and finding that the consideration is not less than the fair market value at its highest and best use, and to approve the write-off of an agency loan. The building is a 120-unit residential project that was developed in the early 1980s as a condominium. It was not successful as a condominium. In 1998, the City Council approved a plan to acquire the remaining units and to sell the entire project to an interested party. There was an RFP that was done. The selected party was selected based on the RFP. They were the ones who were offering the highest amount. They're offering $4 million for the property, a number which exceeds the appraised value. In answer to the council member's question, the total investment in the project is $18.9 million over approximately a 19-year period, and that included funding that went into the initial guarantee of a construction loan, syndication sales expenses, repurchase of the syndications, advances to the homeowners association, maintenance costs, and finally the acquisition of the remaining homeowner units as approved by the council in May of 1998.
Mr. President, just here's another clear example of mismanagement of taxpayers' money. Of course, in 1980, this was the development of the condo, but they only sold 32 units. They knew in advance the scheme was they were not going to sell them all of the 88 units. They contrived a plan where they sold the minimum amount to meet the State Bond Requirement Act program, and then they turned it over to their friends. The friends, of course, was foreclosed on. They operated the remaining units, 88, as apartments. And certainly when you have that kind of a split where 32 are being operated as condo owner-occupied, and some city employees even live there. And then, of course, the others are apartments. The homeowners association, which was CRA, could never get together to do anything right for the residents of the building. So the people who invest as condos were very, very upset about this, and they thought that they were not getting their money's worth, and they were being misled by the city and CRA. Then, of course, the agency had to foreclose on the company they gave it to. $5 million here and $5 million there, and now you got a total of $18 million invested, and all you're going to get back is $4 million of the taxpayers' money after all these shenanigans over and over again since 1980. Sum total, big loss for the city of Los Angeles. I think it's probably worth more than $4 million. It was worth more than $4 million to CRA. They put $18 million into it. We should get much more of the taxpayers' money out of it than we're getting. It's right near the Staples Center, not too far away. This is going to be valuable property in not too distant future. The Staples Center is located right there at 11th Street or so. This is at the 600 block, 5 blocks away, walking distance. Somebody's going to make a lot of money, and I'm not prepared to give away this potential profit that could come to the city. I'm going to have to vote no on it. It might be a good idea. You might say, well, this is the best we can get for now. but I'm telling you, there's some scheming and plotting going on behind the scenes, and I'm not about to be a part of it.
Just, maybe we can get that milk company to take this over, Nate. Maybe we can get the milk company to take it over. Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Spivak, I want to know, are there any remaining units which are owned in the building?
Yes, there are two units, two residential units that are remaining owned. We have one owner.
By someone other than CRA?
That's correct. One is a property owner who has not accepted the offer that was made consistent with the council approval. The other is one that had made several changes without getting building permits to the unit, and there is a debate as to the value of that and what corrective action needs to be taken.
All right, now,
There's also commercial space in the basement, which is not owned.
are these units going to be part of the sale?
No, they are not part of the CRA transaction. We made our offers on those units. They were not accepted, so we're selling the portion, the 118 of the 120 units that we own.
All right. Over the years, how much CRA money has been put into this?
Altogether, $18.9 million over approximately 19 years has been invested.
$19 million, $1 million a year
That's correct.
has been put into it that could have gone to a much better purpose. And you folks continued and continued putting more and more money into it. And all you're getting back is $4 million. So you're still, it's a net loss.
Yes. From that perspective, it is, yes.
The original developer was somebody called Nederlander. Is that the same company that has the Greek Theater?
No, there's no relation with that company. The original developer was Western Development and Campbell Construction. And then, after the units did not sell as individual condos, the 88 units that were syndicated were sold to someone by the name of Murray Nydorf. And he is not related to the Nederlanders.
All right, thank you very much.
Ms. Galanter?
I think I've caught up now on which building this is, and a lot of the sorry history is coming back to me. I just want to make sure that what we're doing, are we near the end of this? I mean...
We certainly hope so. It's our intention at this point to simply sell our interest in the property. We have a willing purchaser who will operate the building as a residential building. The buyer also owns the next building immediately south on Spring Street, which he intends to also convert into residential uses.
And perhaps you already said this and I missed it while I was trying to make sure I connected this up to the right history. What residential units covers a pretty broad range of housing types and population types and services.
This building has 120 units. They're apartment units. They were developed as a condominium project in the early 1980s.
So they're multiple bedroom units?
1, 2, and 2 plus den.
Okay, and, I mean, who do we think is going to, based on the sales transactions and everything else, do we have a clue? Does the buyer have a clue who's going to live in these apartments?
There's a growing demand in downtown for residential units. This actually is the building that has the lowest occupancy of any of the residential buildings downtown. It's running right now about 75% occupied. The other apartments downtown are running about 99% occupied. The market is largely young professionals who are working in or near the downtown. There are people who have homes in outlying locations who are in town for maybe 3 or 4 nights during the week, and then they go to another home in a distant location. And there is a growing interest on the part of people in coming into the downtown as the cultural and other opportunities come about. This building is located on Spring Street, and one of the other things we're doing on Spring Street is promoting the area for cyber business-related activities and merging the residential units with the conversion of other buildings to live workspace. I think makes a lot of sense, and that would be one of the markets that would be tapped.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Okay, and I know my figures are off, but we spent about $200,000 per unit in developing it, or how did that break out? Because I know we had some legal issues and some other problems, and that we had to buy out parties, because we're selling them for about $50,000 a unit.
Right. The building was originally developed privately, and it was developed at a cost of about $12.4 million. The original agency role was to guarantee the construction loan. When the building was finished and the sales were not taking place, that loan was drawn against. About $4.5 million was drawn down against the construction loan. Subsequent to that, when the agency provided for the sale of the remaining units, the 88 units that had not been sold to individuals to the two syndications, there was $5 million that was loaned to the syndications and another $2.6 million that was set up to cover operating deficits. When the syndication ended, the agency foreclosed at that point, therefore did not collect back the $5 million because of the foreclosure. We then spent $2.8 million to purchase the underlying first trust deeds from the Resolution Trust Corporation, and then ultimately, after the approval of the final acquisition, about $2.7 million to acquire all in the 30 homeowner units that were remaining. Then there was about $1.2 million that was advanced to the homeowners association or spent on maintenance and operating costs during the period of time after the agency took it back and before we had the authorization to sell, and that was roughly a 7-year period.
Right, now why are we only getting $4 million?
We put out a request for proposals for the sale of the building. And we had 5 responses that came in. There were 5 offers. This is the highest of the offers that was made.
Okay.
And this our recommendation was to accept
after we
that
made.
offer.
So why don't we just give it to the housing department?
Well, then there wouldn't be any cash coming back to the agency. It would be one thing. The other is that it is the intent to have a mixture of different income levels in this area and to preserve the opportunity for market rate housing. The sale to a private property owner puts it back on the tax rolls.
Well, it puts it back on the tax rolls, but why wouldn't our housing department want this housing for $4 million? It's coming out to about $50,000 a unit.
Part of it, again, is looking for a mix of different type of income levels. The housing department focuses on affordable units, of which there are a very substantial number in this part of town. So this is to achieve more of a mix of different income levels.
So what you're saying is the developer is going to sell it for more than $50,000?
I expect the developer will operate it as rental housing. I don't think they're going to be resold.
But when you're talking about different incomes, it'll be people who will be able to afford more than $50,000. He's not going to be renting them as if he bought them for $50,000.
No, he'll be renting them, I expect, at the current market right now in that area is about $650 to $750 a month.
Mr. Bernson?
You know, this goes way back, and it's been a very sore point to many of us who've been here for a while. But I can't conceive why these units that we now have about 20 million in, and originally were built for 12 million before inflation, which boils down to about $100,000 per unit, that now we want to dump them for $33,000 a unit. It really doesn't make any sense. Can't we do any better than that?
Given the experience we had in putting this out on the market, I would expect not.
You know, it seems to me that if we can't manage this, and this has been one of the problems with the CRA, by the way, if we can't manage this, maybe we need to find somebody that can manage it from a viewpoint of providing affordable housing downtown alone. It might seem to be, the $4 million seem very insignificant to give this piece of property up. You know, I understand why you want to get rid of it. I understand why you want to get rid of the headache, and maybe we all would like to get rid of the headache, but this is basically giving away a lot of dollars. I think those units are worth more than $33,000. I don't understand why we haven't negotiated a better price. If we had gotten somewhere in the neighborhood of close to the construction cost, which I'm sure would cost more than that today, this is what, about 15 years old approximately?
Almost 19 years old.
Almost 19 years old. Well, you know, $100,000 per unit today then is probably cost close to double that today to build an equivalent unit anyplace else. And I don't know what the land values are worth on Spring Street. I mean, I understand it's not Beverly Hills. If it was Beverly Hills, the CRA wouldn't be dealing with it. But the point is that I think we can do a lot better than that. I have difficulty. I think we ought to not make a decision today. I think we ought to take another look at this thing and see if we can't come up with some other alternatives. Really, maybe it belongs in with the housing department or somebody like that can find a manager who can provide rentals to these people, and we can provide housing downtown and not lose this, because it seems to me we're giving away an awful lot for very little. And we've struggled this long, we've suffered this long. I don't see any rush to hurry on this thing. I'm going to move that we continue this I'm going to say we continue it for 60 days. In the meantime, we refer it to our housing department and see if they can come up with some alternatives. That would be my motion.
Chair recognizes Councilman Pacheco.
I was just going to ask the staff if there was any time constraints that we need to be considering, because I agree with Councilmember Bernson and Councilmember Hernandez that we may want to take a second look at this in terms of what other options we have on this property. So I just want to know from the staff what our time constraints are, if any.
There is not a specific time constraint. There is a cost constraint because the building is not bringing in enough to cover the operating cost right now. And so it's a continuing cost to the agency to continue to run the building.
I understand. Factoring the fact that we're talking about millions of dollars already down the drain, the couple of thousands that would be incurred during this time of deliberation are really sort of nominal compared to what we've already invested in the property. So I'm going to encourage and agree with Councilmember Bernson. I can't remember, was there a time that you suggested? 60 days?
That's February 15th.
Okay. I, as the chair of the Housing Committee, would encourage the support of that motion.
Motion to continue for 60 days.
Mr. President.
Prepare the roll on that. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved, so the matter is continued 60 days. Next, and then referred to the housing, okay. Next item,
Item number 40.
Mr. Fuhr.
Yeah, just very briefly. Is the CAO available for this? Hi. I just have one question, because this is usually done in kind of a ministerial way. And very quickly, Ms. Goldberg and I signed the DPOs last week. I just wanted to assure that the DPOs authorize no additional people to be staffed in the city and no additional funding for such people beyond what the council has already authorized with the mayor. There's nothing buried in those documents that's different from what the council has explicitly already voted to do.
Yes. My name is Carolyn Cooper. I'm with the City Administrative Officer. The 1999-2000 departmental personnel ordinances that are before you represent the personnel authority that is part of the 1999-2000 adopted budget.
Right.
There is no additional funding.
No additional, Mr. Deaton, I take you're coming forward to say exactly the same thing, that there's nothing here.
Right.
I wanted at a minimum on the record, because it's had no committee review anywhere,
Right,
that on the
but-
record, there's nothing that we haven't already approved that buried in these documents.
Right. It is there are minor changes in the personnel ordinance relative to how you handle the different employees, but the authority is the same. And procedurally, the chairman of the Finance Committee and the chairperson of the Personnel Committee have done this for the last 25 years this way.
Fine.
Procedurally.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Frau, thank you, Mr. President.
And some of the minor changes are pay grades.
Okay.
So.
All right. My question's been answered.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, prepare the roll on 40. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 43.
Okay, we have Mort Allen wants to be heard on 43. We're going to do forthwith on everything.
Council members, I'm Mort Allen from Studio City, and
This is on the bus shelter situation, and this seems to be part of the same issues like the Greek Theater and some of the others on contracts. Let me first tell you that we are being watched right now by Renee Eubanks in the Department of Justice in Washington on this issue. This just closed last week, and one of the reasons it was approved was that the contract was only with Outdoor Systems. Now, we tried to say this to you before. Outdoor Systems closed this week, was sold to Infinity, which is 82% owned by CBS, and it's going to close in about a month. It's being sold to Viacom. Okay? Once they have it, you have the largest monopoly that's ever been in Los Angeles. CBS owns TDI right now, which has 100% of all the interior and exterior bus advertising, the MTA facilities, which is 2,200 buses and another 150 trains. It has, then Outdoor Systems right now has 100% of the bus shelters in Los Angeles under contract. It has, of which their contract limits them to 1,300 shelters, all in the affluent areas, out of 9,000 bus stops. Okay? They came to Los Angeles in 1996 and purchased Pacific Outdoor, Gannett, National, 3M, Van Wagner, so they have 70% of the billboards in Los Angeles. Infinity owns 10 major radio stations, including our only two all-news, KFWB and KNX. They own 100% of the California Highway Patrol contract, like metro traffic situations. They own CBS Channel 2. They own half of UPN Channel 13. Okay? Now, Sumner Redstone made several announcements, which have been highly reported, that they plan to use all their outdoor advertising for their own products, from Warehouse Video, from Blockbuster to their TV, radio, their shows, their studios, and all that. So there will be litigation from the Justice Department if this is redone, plus you're looking at litigation from Channel 4 and Channel 7. So all I ask is this go back to the Public Works Committee and be understood. Now, I have a meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock with the top CBS executives in Los Angeles, and our community is proposing to set up a bus shelter company, community-owned and backed by Eller Media, which will provide the advertising. And we're going to ask if they offer to split the contract and let us build another 1,500 shelters and pay the city $3 million in advance. If they do split their shelters, they will not be a monopoly. So all I ask is that this goes back to the committee and let them discuss this rather than approving it today. Thank you.
Anyone want to be heard on 43? Mr. Holden?
I'd like to ask Ms. Walters, she's with Public Works, and who's the chair of Public Works Committee? Who? Mr. President, who's the chairperson of Public Works Committee?
Mr. Wax.
Oh, Mr. Wax. Oh, Mr. Wax. You heard that the gentleman talked about major conflicts here and maybe the lawsuits and ownership of CBS and Channel 13, which is all of one and half of another. Is there any major inherent problems there?
This was in Public Works before I became the chair, Mr. Holden. We haven't had it here since I've been the chair, so I'm unaware of that information.
Well, would you object to maybe hearing it in your committee for that purpose to find out where we are?
No, I don't object to anything.
Well, would you, if a motion were made to send it there, would you give it here quickly and then address the issue?
Well, I think we just had a meeting this morning, and the next one will be on the second Tuesday of January.
Is there any urgency for this matter?
Why don't we see what the city attorney has to say about this?
Oh, fine, very good.
Huh?
Well, this is a request that's being made pursuant to the technical requirements of the contract. Any change of ownership of greater than 5% has to receive at least a blessing from the city. The intent of that clause when it was drafted was to protect the selling of the contract. That is, that we do business with a particular company and they sell the contract to another company, so that we would not be doing business with those people with which we negotiated the contract. In this particular instance, that is not the case. This is a parent company selling a subsidiary company, which is the company that we have negotiated with, to another parent company. The people that we are going to be doing business with have not changed. Outdoor Systems has not changed.
Mr. President,
the only thing that has
my
changed is
time
the
still
ownership.
running.
I'll give you more time, Mr.
Okay.
Holman. Don't you want to hear the explanation?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So the only thing that has changed in this particular instance is the parental ownership of a standalone company, which is Outdoor Systems, which is a company with which we have our contract. None of the people with which we are doing business have changed. This was discussed during the negotiations when it was in front of Ms. Walters' committee and Public Works Committee relative to extending the contract of the current company, and this was all part of the discussion. This is their request to meet the technical requirements of the contract, and there is nothing that is unroutine about this request or the motion that is before the council today.
Mr. President, I think that it's still somewhat complicated. I think all the facts should be shared with the members of the committee. Rule 16th was not the appropriate avenue for this vehicle. I think that Mr. Wax will hear it at the next meeting, but it should be shared with the committee and then referred to us. So there may be some questions that need to be asked at that time that we're not going to even think to ask here. And they should be known to us. I would think it should go to the Public Works Committee, and then it's not a Rule 16, and bring it back.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, did you want to say something, Mr. Deaton?
Mr. President, members of the council, this was discussed at length in the whole proceedings over the change in the bus shelter. The same public testimony on the same items were made at that particular time. They were looked at in the context of that contract with the city attorney. One of the problems we had with the contractual relationship that we had prior to this was that we did not do these things in a timely fashion. This is a routine thing and should move ahead, Mr. Holden.
Mr. Hernandez?
When did we approve the extension of these bus shelters?
About 3 months ago. Approximately 3 months ago, I think.
Approximately 3 months ago.
Correct.
And Mr. Deaton, when you say this is a routine thing, part of what's bothersome to me is we should have been approving this change at that time. It shouldn't have happened 3 months later.
It's, Mr. Hernandez, is triggered by, we were aware of the negotiations for that change in ownership. It had not been concluded.
Right.
And the concerns about that change in ownership were raised in public meetings, raised in this council and discussed. We indicated that if that was a change, we would make this change in ownership. So it wasn't ready 3 months ago. I'm just saying that the issue and the nature of this ownership change was discussed during that period of time.
Right. And part of, and I wasn't here for the final vote at that time. Part of what's bothersome to me is Los Angeles is a large city. In trying to claim that we're trying to create competition in our RFP processes, what you're happening is more and more of these mega deals are going on, and there's less and less choices. Now, they might have these operating companies, but there's nothing to stop this parent company from owning all the advertising companies in the city. And then we'd be saying, well, the players we're dealing with haven't changed. They're competing with each other, when the reality is the main owners is this parent company. I was disturbed when I heard the city attorney saying that we'll still be dealing with the same people, it's just parent companies changed. Well, if that was the case, I'd still be dealing with Peter O'Malley with the Dodgers. The reality is the parent company did change, and the players did change, and the management did change, and you have a different team out there. When I look at the supermarket industry in this area in the state, because of all these mega mergers, there's very few choices. You can go to Ralph's, you can go to Vons, or you can go to Albertsons, unless you're going to an independent now.
And Mr. Hernandez, the banking situation is even worse.
Right.
But unfortunately,
This is a whole
this isn't the mechanism for us to do something about that. I'm not suggesting that I'm in favor of this merger. I'm not saying that I think this is a good business deal or a bad business deal. I'm just saying within the context of our contract, this is a relatively routine item and one that was discussed and we knew about at that point, and we talked about those kinds of issues beforehand. Do I like this merger? I don't really I'm kind of agnostic.
Right,
on the
and
merger.
I guess what I'm saying is maybe we should have held off 3 months ago until it was perfected and then made this decision.
Well, the difficulty was, Mr. Hernandez, I can appreciate that, but we had held off on another ownership change so long that we put our whole contractual relationship in question for delaying that. And I'm just suggesting that if we want to get on and conclude this contract so we can go back out for another RFP, we need to do some of these things that are routine in a routine fashion.
Okay.
I move the recommendations listed in the agenda.
We have 43 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. Next item.
Items number 39 and 45 are closed session items.
Okay, let's, we're going executive session, but let's do, what else do we have?
Public comments is now before you.
Okay. Richard Robinson.
Mr. President, members of council, the catch-22-like structure of the city's business tax code is not fair. And there's a plethora of those who are attacking our mayor's lame duck administration. That multitude is afraid of competition, xenophobic, afraid of the have-nots, les miserables. Their fear, their Proposition 13 mindset is misplaced. Thank you.
Candido.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. This past weekend, the Van Nuys Knights of Columbus held a Christmas party for all of Los Angeles children, and I'm not here trying to get a pat on the back, but because we want to thank those that made it possible, especially the fire department. Chief Montre came through and really helped us get some more of the toys that we needed to make sure that every one of the children that were there received a toy, but also to companies like Albertson and McDonald's for providing merchandise, and also to the Department of Water and Power for giving us close to 1,500 coloring books. But Mr. Burtson, I want to thank you for the generous donation that you gave and going beyond your boundaries and helping all children of Los Angeles. So thank you very much.
Anyone else want to be heard? Seeing none. Okay, Mr. Allen, you want to be heard?
Yeah, I want to make a comment on the press as far as the Greek Theater. I myself am so disgusted. I mean, I've been involved with being president of City Hope and things, and those people are so charitable. The Nederlander organization, the Greek Theater, have run the Pantages in Hollywood for so many years. They are so good, and everybody is here trying to give more money to Universal, which is the Canadian people. They're bringing construction to Canada. They took their record company out of L.A. to Santa Monica. They control all the concert venues, and they want to make rock and roll up at the Greek Theater instead of the music that we like. And for some reason, they're being so slandered in the media, okay? And I just think that there's certain things that are good, certain things are bad. But when you have people like that are so good, and why are we letting them just push Universal to take over everything? It seems crazy. I mean, they own every music company. They control all the venues. Now, for the record, I don't think I'm supposed to say this, but you were lied to. Outdoor Systems is out of business. It's a closed company. All those employees went to Eller Media, and now it is a division of CBS, okay? It is being further merged in about a month, which I hope you'll look at it again. But, you know, when the city attorney lies to you and say that it's the same business, and it's not, there's a problem. Thank you.
Okay, the public hearing is closed. We're going to go into executive session. To all those not involved with the executive session, please leave the council chamber. And in the meantime, let's clear the desk.
Mr. President. Mr. President, request to be excused from council meetings. Councilmember Ridley Thomas requests to be excused on December 14th and 15th. A motion is required.
All right, Mr. Hernandez moves, unanimous vote.
Councilmember Hernandez requests to be excused on January 12th to leave at 11:30 for city business, meets policy.
Unanimous vote.
Councilmember Padilla requests to be excused December 17th to arrive late for city business that meets policy.
Unanimous vote.
And Councilmember Galanter requests to be excused on January 19th for city business. This meets policy.
Unanimous vote.
Motions for posting and referral.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Okay, what item we're going to take first?
39A.
39A.
Never quite came true. Found a way to live again when I found the key to you.
Okay, we're back in open session. What do we have before us?
Item 39A, authorizing the city attorney to expend $126,843.57 in payment of judgment.
Prepare the roll on that. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Mr. Padilla, did you want to say something? You pushed your button. Somebody's sneaking the, watch that, Nick. I think he's pushing your button. Okay, the next item.
The desk is clear.
All right, do we have anything else before the council? Adjourning motions, would everyone please stand? Mr. Savornich?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, I would like to ask that we adjourn in memory of and to extend the condolences on behalf of the city of Los Angeles through the consulate office here in Los Angeles and through the Croatian embassy in Washington, D.C., the city's condolences on behalf of the death of the President of the Republic of Croatia, Dr. Franjo Tuđman, on Friday, December 10th. And I would like to ask that, as a council, we adjourn all members and to express our condolences through proper channels.
All members.
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Well, we'll excuse your name. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, Mr. President, members of council, I ask that we adjourn in memory of Edmundo Lopez. He's someone who worked on several statewide projects and just passed away recently on December. And funeral services will be on December 15th. Just asking that we adjourn today's meeting at his memory.
Mr. Padilla?
Mr. Lopez's adjournment. I also had the honor of knowing him the last several years, and he was involved statewide with a variety of planning, transportation, and construction projects, and was a good friend.
Mr. Wax?
Yes, I'd like the council to adjourn in memory of Melvin Friedman, who died last week when I was out of town. He leaves his wife Frances and his 3 children, including my 2 good friends, Steve Friedman and Stan Friedman, both of whom are very active in the Orthodox Jewish, traditional Jewish community, and I'll give the clerk the pertinent information.
Call the roll. The council is adjourned. Members of the council, I want to remind you that the Festival of Lights is at Griffith Park. It's a beautiful thing. We invite not only the council members, but all the public to go visit the Griffith Park Festival of Lights.
Well,